especially in my early years working with energy when it was still difficult for me to grasp what was going on. My experiences, along with corroborative testimony from others, helped me form the basis for my evolving belief system, and ravenous reading and research further supported this evolution. I dismissed discouragement from all fronts and continued to find out everything I could about energy and metaphysics. I went to a psychometry workshop one night before taking in a movie on a first date with a guy. We were going to see The Men Who Stared at Goats, a movie about the government's well-documented attempt to use extrasensory remote viewing as a military spy tactic in the 1970s. I liked the previews, which featured George Clooney's character driving down the road while trying to dissolve a cloud with his mind, just like my stepfather used to do. Clooney turned to his passenger and laughed triumphantly. "See, that's how you do it," and then promptly crashed his car into a tree. I simply had to see this movie. I went to the psychometry workshop alone, however, and didn't mention it to my date. The woman presenting the workshop, Christina Cross, claimed to have lots of experience getting information about people and their life circumstances by touching objects owned by those people. Presumably, these items were charged with the individual's energy, which stored information about that person. We were asked to bring a photo in a sealed envelope and an object with some sentimental value. I hoped I would be chosen to hand over one of my items for a reading. After a brief introduction of herself and of psychometry and a brief grounding meditation, Christina told us to pair up and decide which of us was going to read for the other first. I looked around the room at people pairing up and nonchalantly trading envelopes and objects, and I panicked. Excuse me, I can't do this. I don't know how." "Yes, you can. You wouldn't have been led to this workshop if you couldn't do this. Set aside your doubts and give it your best shot." She said it so definitively, and everyone else seemed so comfortable, I saw no alternative but to comply. What's the worst thing that could happen? I'd be unable to get any information, validating my original claim and proving her wrong. My partner handed me a ring, which I held in my left hand, per the instructions, and I closed my eyes to see what came up. Immediately, I felt a painful heat coming up my left arm and into my chest, which I reported to my partner. I was surprised how strong it felt and how I knew it wasn't my body I was feeling, but rather someone else's experience, clairsentience. I basked in that success for a few minutes, but nothing else came after. I was stumped. We sat there amid the confident chatter of other readings all around us. To our right, I heard, "So I see a brown dog, a big brown dog, and he's running up, wagging his tail," and the enthusiastic response, "Yes, I met a big brown dog on the sidewalk on the way over here." Apparently, almost everyone in the room had taken several workshops prior to this one, and they were way ahead of me. Christina gently guided me, graciously directing her comments to the group in general. "Feel it in your body. Say everything that comes up. This is just practice. If you run out of information, ask yourself questions. Was it a male or female? What did they wear? What was the environment like? What did they die of?" Then quietly wait for the answers. I tried again and saw my stepfather's mother, Lucille, in my mind's eye, clairvoyance. She had stayed on the farm with my brother and me while my mom and stepfather traveled somewhere. I was 4 years old at the time and hadn't thought of her in decades. She was a battle axe of a woman who was set in her ways and would counter any suggestion of flexibility with the mantra, "Been doing it all my life, ain't dead yet." I wasn't sure why she popped into my head, but I described her to my partner as an old, tall, gaunt woman with gray hair and wire-rimmed glasses. I saw her in a ruffled white blouse or bibbed dress, which I can't remember her ever wearing. It would have been impractical on the farm. Then I saw her in a coffin, again with the white blouse. Then I circled back to the arm pain and said, "I'm going to go with heart attack." And that was it. Turns out, the ring belonged to my partner's great aunt, who died of a heart attack. The physical appearance was similar to Lucille's, and her name started with an L, though my partner didn't know what she was wearing when she was buried. I didn't care how sketchy the other details were. I couldn't get over the hit on the heart attack.